Hi guys, welcome back to Learning English and Literature. In this video, I'll be explaining types of clauses. But before we begin, hit the subscribe button and let's reach a wider audience. We already know that a clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb. We have two types of clauses. We have the dependent or subordinating clauses and the independent or the main clause. I'm going to use this image to describe or explain further types of clauses. Now, this is a pen. The sole aim of using the pen is to write. Now, you can see there are two parts. We have the pen itself and the cork. In order to fulfill its purpose, okay, to write, you need this part of the pen. You do not need the cork. For example, if you want to borrow a pen for your exams, you cannot borrow the cork, you can borrow the pen, okay? So that means in writing, this pen can work or function more than this one. It simply means that the cork needs the pen to survive. That means without the pen, this cork will be useless in terms of writing. So that makes this pen the main clause, the main part of the sentence, okay? That does not depend on anything. This pen does not depend on this cork to write. So that makes this pen the independent or main clause. The cork here is dependent on the pen to have a meaning. The cork here, without this pen, will be useless in terms of writing. So types of clause, the pen here, see this pen as the main or independent clause, and see the cork here as the dependent or subordinate clause, because this pen can write on its own without the help of this cork. But this cork cannot write, but depends on the pen to just rest on it, okay? So in terms of writing, the pen is independent while the cork is dependent. Let's go further. An independent clause is a clause that can form a complete sentence standing alone. Okay, it is in fact a sentence. This sentence can stand alone without the support of any other sentence. For example, Messi didn't feature at the El Clasico. Now, if you look at the sentence, this part of the sentence can stand on its own. This other part is only depending on the first part of the sentence to make sense, because he injured his foot during the training does not make complete sense. What makes complete sense here is that Messi did not feature at the El Clasico. Okay, so this makes this part of the sentence in red the main or independent clause. Okay, this is the house that Jack built. This is the main or independent clause because the main sense, the real sense of the sentence is this is the house that Jack built is dependent on this is the house to make complete sense. That Jack built, you do not know what he built. But if you say this is the house, it makes complete sense on its own, okay? If you remove that Jack built, it still makes sense. This is the house. Remove this part of the sentence that Jack built, it doesn't make sense, okay? So independent clauses can stand on their own. That simply means if I remove these and I remove these, it still makes sense, okay? So independent clauses, they make sense even when they stand on their own, okay? Dependent or subordinating clause. Now, it begins with a subordinate conjunction or a relative pronoun, and it contains a subject and the verb, but it does not make or form complete sense on its own. It needs another clause to make complete sense. Now let's go back. Because he injured his foot during training. This part of the sentence is dependent on this other part to make complete sense. So it simply means this part of the sentence in red is dependent on the part of the sentence in blue to make complete sense. For example, if I remove this, because he injured his foot during training. It doesn't make sense. This group of words needs to rely on another group of words to make complete sense. What happened, you don't know. But what you know is that he injured his foot during the training. Why? You don't know. Okay? Now, but if you add this, you see it makes complete sense now. If you remove this, it doesn't make sense. Okay? But if you bring it back, it makes complete sense. But if I remove this, it still makes complete sense. That means this group of words is dependent on the first one. This is the house that Jack built. If I remove this now, you see, this does not make sense, even though it contains a subject and the verb. It's a clause, but it does not make complete sense because you don't even know what they're talking about, whether Jack built a ship or he built a castle. But if you bring this back, you see it makes complete sense. So without these words in blue, the words in red will not make meaning. So now you understand that the words in blue are independent, okay? But the words in red are dependent. The words in blue are independent because they don't need the words in red to make sense. The words in red are dependent because without the words in blue, they will not make complete sense. Thank you very much.